Hello. Um, yes, this is a headband. I know people don't wear headbands anymore, but it's comfortable. So, also, it is not lost on me how weird it is that I refuse to go to work or the grocery store or the gas station without a full face of makeup on, and yet somehow I'm okay making a video for the internet with no makeup on. I know that's weird, but um I like that I don't have that many viewers that will judge me. So don't judge me. Is what it is. So this video is actually a vegan tag. No, I was not tagged by anyone except myself, just because I wanted to make a video and I found a vegan tag. So um, there it is. Also, I have not thought about these questions. I haven't even read the questions yet. So you'll have to forgive me if I am a little bit slow with my responses. I may take a second to think about it. But here we go. So, number one. Are you vegan? Yes, obviously. I don't know why else I would be doing a vegan tag, but yes, I am vegan. When did you become vegan? I don't know the exact date, but it was 2012 when I had like November. Yeah, early November of 2012 was the last time I remember eating any meat. And I know that I didn't eat any cheese or milk or any eggs prior to having the last bit of meat as well. But I don't know what the date was. I don't know. I don't know how long before that I had no meat. Because I remember that the last time I had meat was duck breast at this restaurant that my friend and I would go to every year for our birthdays. And it was one of those restaurants where the menu is fixed and they just bring you whatever. And at that point, I had not RSVP'd to say that I was vegan, so I just got whatever they gave me, and I remember eating it. So that was the last meat. But I know that before that, I was actually doing like a raw vegan for a while. So yeah. Anyway, 2012 is currently early 2018. So about 5 years. 5 years. Wow. So about 5 years ago. Why did you become vegan? This it's hard to answer this actually. Not because I'm not sure why I'm vegan, but I'm not sure why I went vegan. Um, all of the reasons for being vegan sort of occurred to me after I had already started. Um, so my guess would be that I went vegan for weight loss or health in general. Um, it was sort of a slippery slope, I guess. Before I went vegan, I went on multiple juice fasts, and that had started because my personal trainer and friend at the time, I mean, he's still my friend, but he's no longer my personal trainer, years and years and years ago, so about 6 years ago, he and I went to go see that movie Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, and became like obsessed with it. And so we both would do juice fasts together. And I did like a 60-day one, I did a 30-day one, I did like 5-day ones, but I love them. And, um, you know, all of the resources said when you're coming off like a juice only fast that you should eat just sort of raw vegan for a short time to transition yourself back into regular food. So um, that's sort of what I did. I would do a juice fast and then I would eat raw vegan, and then it just sort of stayed mostly vegan, and I just couldn't really go back to dairy and meat. Like it just didn't really fit with me anymore. Um, and so I don't really remember the conscious decision to go totally vegan. It was sort of a natural process. And then as soon as you realize you're vegan or decide to become vegan, it's like that's when all these reasons hit you. Um, you start to look into the animal welfare side, and I'm a big animal lover, so that's sort of, for me now, it's number one is the animals. Um, but you learn all about the health benefits, you learn about the environmental benefits, so it's like everything sort of comes after, the decision. I think a lot of people, have that tiny spark that's from one thing. Like it would be, they watched a documentary with a horrific treatment of animals in it, and it's just that sort of a spark where they're like, "This is wrong, and I need to make a change." But then after they make the change, that's when even more reasons start coming. So, yeah, when people ask me like in person why I became vegan, I usually just tell them that I love animals and I believe that it's the healthiest diet for my body. So that's why. What was the hardest part about becoming vegan? Hardest part. Um, for me, I think it was giving up a part of my persona. So, um, you know, I've always like run blogs where I talked about food, especially like gourmet food at restaurants and food that I would make at home. And, that always was just like a part of me, was that I was a foodie and that I liked weird food. I loved, like sardines and anchovies and things that people didn't really um, like. So it was it wasn't hard to give up those foods that I liked, but it was hard to give up the part of me that was that person. People still to this day, and I've been vegan for years, people still reach out and ask me, on how to cook a certain type of steak or what I would serve with such and such fish, because it was just part of um, who I was to other people. So, like, oh, I'm sure Shannon's been to that restaurant. I'm sure Shannon has tried the beef tongue appetizer. Like, it's just who I was, and that part I think was the hardest part to give up because it was part of me, and I was sort of proud of that, being like, a foodie expert, and adventurous eater, and yeah. So I think it's just a hard thing to give up that part of yourself. So that I would say was the hardest part. Is it difficult to be vegan? No, not not at all. And people ask me that all the time. They say, "Oh, good for you. It must be so hard. I couldn't do it." And it's like, it doesn't matter how much I tell them, it's not hard. Like People don't believe me until maybe they try it themselves. Um, it is not hard. I think it would be hard if you were forced to do it and you didn't want to. That's the thing. I think if your doctor sat you down and said, you need to eat a totally vegan diet or you're going to die, um, you would go home and you would think it was so hard because it wasn't your choice. And, but I don't think it's hard at all because I don't want to eat meat. I don't want to eat eggs. I don't want to eat cheese. Like, I don't want it. So it's not hard to stay away from it. It's not a hard life to live. It's not as expensive as people think at all. Uh, the staples are still cheap and still vegan. Pasta and rice and bread. Like, it's not. It's not hard. No. Do you let certain things slide from time to time? For example, use slash purchase non-vegan items, etc. Yes. Yes, I do. Um, First of all, being vegan is about doing the best to your ability. It is not about being perfect. You cannot be perfect. I drive a car. Car runs on fossil fuel. Like, it's from an animal that was alive a really long time ago. It's like there is no part of our world that we touch that was not sort of built directly or indirectly from animals. It's just how we've built our society, so it's sort of impossible to completely avoid everything. And I think that if you um, try and pick it apart with such a fine tooth comb that you you're going to drive yourself crazy, and it's you're not helping anyone by being that particular. So aside from that, what do I let slide? Well, um, like I so I have items that are made from leather that I have had that I had purchased before I went vegan. My couch, I have a giant leather couch. Does it gross me out? Sometimes it does. But it was a very expensive, large purchase that I had bought beforehand. And I bought it with my partner. And there's no way that we could afford to go get a whole new couch just because I don't want a leather one anymore. So we will use that couch until it dies, and then, get a different one. So same thing. I have leather seats in my car. I bought the car used, and I bought it before I was vegan. Um, but even going forward, I'm on the lookout for another car. I do want a used one, and I am open to it having leather seats because it's really hard to find one without. And it's like these things that's not little. Like I realize that in the vegan world, um, it's not a small thing to say I'm okay with buying leather, um, but I am okay with buying secondhand leather. It's already out there. I am only very indirectly supplying money to someone else who bought it from someone else who bought it from someone else. Um, I don't know who's out there tracking that leather, like to say, oh look, someone else is interested in buying this used car with these leather seats, so therefore, leather is in high demand. Like, I don't know how that works, but I will let that slide. That's what I'm saying. I will not buy, brand new leather shoes or leather clothes, and I just don't want to wear that kind of thing. Um, and with food, like I have accidentally eaten things with butter and with eggs in it and with milk. Haven't no, I did once accidentally eat some meat, but it was like I like licked, I like licked you know, a Chinese dumpling. I took a nibble off the end because I thought it was we ordered veggie and it was chicken inside, but I could tell right away, and so I'm sure I ate some of it, but I didn't like run to the bathroom and vomit or cry. Like a mistake's a mistake, and obviously I ate that shit for my whole life, and eating a tiny bit is not going to make me sick. It's just going to make me, feel gross mentally. So like things like that, I won't let it slide in that like some people will say that if they're given a gift, like some fudge or something, and they know it's not vegan, they will still eat it because it was a gift and they don't want it to go to waste. I totally understand that. That doesn't happen to me. Um, People give me non-vegan gifts all the time, and I just very politely accept it and pass it on to someone else who will enjoy it. Like wool, people give me like wool socks that they've made, or like food items, a lot of food items that they'll give me, and then I'll say thank you, and they'll say, oh, actually, I think I used real butter. I'm like, that's fine. Like I'll give it to somebody else. It's fine. But I won't consume it. So yeah, those are the things that I let slide, is, things that are seemingly unavoidable, or that are so far removed from the original industry, but that doesn't gross me out. Again, like I wouldn't wear like a fur coat if someone gave it to me, even if it was vintage something and they don't make it anymore. I'm not into that. What else? How do you deal with people who are closed-minded about your lifestyle? I don't really need to. Not that I don't need to deal with them, it's just I don't engage with it. And first of all, most people have no issue with my lifestyle. At the very worst, they make fun of it a little bit, but it is very rare. And it's so slight, and I don't engage with it at all. Like if people want to have a debate, I am not down for that. If they want me to legitimately tell them reasons why I'm vegan or benefits of being vegan, things like that, I'm totally cool with it. But if they just want to debate because they want to, make me feel stupid or something, no, I just don't even engage. I just sort of laugh at their stupid bacon joke and let it roll on by, because it's got nothing to do with me, and they're not looking for an actual answer or an actual conversation. They're just looking to make fun of it or get a rise out of me or something, and that's just not what I'm like. So yeah, I don't. And on the internet, same thing. I just don't really engage unless people are genuine in looking for answers. Then it's totally fine. I don't mind telling you all about veganism and then having you not go vegan. Like, that's fine. If you're just curious, that's totally cool. Do you support vegetarianism and or quote, something's better than nothing's? Yeah, absolutely. Something is always better than nothing. You don't. I hate when people would think this way, that vegans want you to be vegan and only vegan. Like, of course we do, in that that would mean that no more animals are being slaughtered. But for your health, for the animals, for the environment, for everything, um, less is still better. Less animals being killed is still better than not. um, so, yeah, if someone's vegetarian and they're still eating a butt ton of cheese, like, fine, you know? Like, sucks for your colon for sure, but um, it's good for, the pigs that you're not eating and the chickens you're not eating. And, I was going to say for the cholesterol you're not putting in, but that much cheese you still are. But yeah, that's absolutely something's better than nothing. I think, whatever you want to be, flexitarian, pescatarian, vegetarian, whatever, the less meat you're consuming, the better, I think. So, absolutely. What is your favorite specialty vegan item? I don't know. Specialty vegan item means. I'm guessing that means that it's specifically like vegan. Like a food product or something. Um, Specialty vegan item. I'll just say my current favorite vegan food item is the Daiya brand Greek style yogurts. Um, and that is because I have had trouble swallowing my pills lately, and the only way I can get them down is by taking them with this yogurt. And the yogurt is so thick, like a Greek style yogurt. It's really, really good, but it's really thick. And I've bought, excuse me, sorry, I've bought all of the other vegan yogurts, and they're all really runny. And they'll say Greek style, but then they're like a old school Yoplait, like Dannon runny Go-Gurt stuff. And the Daiya brand is like good, thick and creamy. So I have a lot of favorites of like frozen items and stuff, but currently that's my favorite because it's really saving me with my pills. So, what is your opinion of the meat and dairy alternatives? I love them. I totally get what people say about, why do you want to eat vegan for your body and for the health, but you're buying these mock meats and things chock full of preservatives. I totally respect that, and to a part, I also agree with it. So I try not to eat way too many of them, but the thing is, they're really good. And, you know, almost everyone who is vegan did not grow up vegan. They weren't born vegan. They grew up eating American junk food and convenience food just like the rest of us. Um, so you still have a taste for these things, these chicken nuggets and hot dogs and cheese on your pizza. Um, it's still in here. So um, when you go vegan, you still want to be able to have that sort of exciting part where you can have these kind of junky foods. And not even junky foods. Some of them are, um, not terrible for you, but they're still a mock version of the original thing. Um, but yeah, I mean, I love them. I love my vegan cheeses. I love a lot of the mock meats, the chicken nuggets, and um, even like seitan, tofu, all that kind of thing. I love them all. So, high opinion of those, and I love that plant-based eating is becoming even more popular. So I just caught the camera doing that in and out thing that my friend Melissa was telling me that she thought there was a ghost in here because the camera keeps adjusting, but clearly, I mean, could be ghost, right? But I think it's just the bad lighting and that I move around too much. Anyway, I'm sorry if that's really that's really annoying. I should film in a different room. So I don't remember what I was saying. Something about, mock meats and things, but I love them. The end. Um, do you feel judged by other vegans sometimes, and how do you deal with it? Um, yeah, the key word is sometimes. I would say yes, but those sometimes have come and gone. um, I put a lot of that on myself. Like I feel like if other vegans knew me, they would not approve of me because I am overweight, and that's sort of like doesn't look good for the veganism movement if I don't look like the healthiest, glowiest human, you know. So like early on, if you're familiar with the vegan like YouTube climate at all, then you would know about like Freely and Durian Rider and that whole sort of group of vegans. Uh, I was very familiar and engaged in that community when I first went vegan, and I definitely felt very judged by that sort of group. Like the Durian Rider would say that if you were a fat vegan, that you absolutely were cheating. You were eating cheeseburgers every weekend and lying about it. And I wasn't, and I am not. And so that sort of thing I really hated, and I sort of got very nervous about it, and so I didn't want to put myself out there at all. I did not make videos then, especially not about veganism, and because I just didn't think that I could handle being called a liar. So anyway, that definitely passed. For one, I don't care at all what Durian Rider would think of me because he's not the most quality human. And if people feel like that as well, that's totally fine. But in real life, I don't know any other vegans in real life, and so no one is around to judge me. So it's great. I would say, you get more judgment from people who don't agree with you being vegan, but even that, in real life, this is the thing, in real life, no one disagrees with you. They may, behind closed doors, but no one is coming up to my lunch table and saying, you stupid vegan, animals were put here for us to eat. Why aren't you eating them? Like, that doesn't happen. That only happens on the internet. That's it. So, for vegans in the real world, it doesn't really happen. People are not even paying attention to what I am and am not eating. I go to parties. I don't walk in and say, the vegan is here. Everyone must know. I just bring a dish of vegetables to share, and no one looks at my plate. No one is questioning what I'm eating and what I'm not eating. I don't make comments about it. It's just not a thing. So Sorry about that rant. The very last question is, do you enjoy being a vegan? Yes, I absolutely do. I actually just had a very mini conversation about this on Instagram the other day when a friend of mine was DMing me and telling me about how she hasn't had dairy or meat in a couple months and she feels so good. My friend was saying that she'd had a lot less mental issues, and she has like personality disorder, anxiety, depression, that kind of thing. And of course, she's on medications and everything, but she said that she just feels better with herself. Excuse me. And I was saying that I felt the exact same way. That when I went vegan, it wasn't just that like my digestion was better, my skin cleared up, like those physical things definitely happened. But for me, it was so much more about like my emotional self-esteem, in that I never noticed it being a problem before, but it's one of those things that you notice when it improves. And what had happened was, you stop consuming these evil things, like the dead flesh and all that. And I don't believe in I don't remember what the quote is, but there's a thing about um, um, like how you are consuming the fear, the energy of fear and death from the meat. Like, I'm not that spiritual that I feel that, but emotionally, absolutely. Like, having seen the animals being slaughtered, and how they are raised and how they live, and how they're butchered and all that. Once you realize that that has been happening all along and you were the problem, that you were the one perpetuating it with buying it and consuming it at such a rapid rate, that once you stop that, you naturally feel better about yourself, that you're not contributing to it. And I struggle to find like a way to say that doesn't sound like this high horse, like I feel like I'm better than everybody because I don't partake in that. And it's not that. It's just this very strange thing that happens, that you just feel better about yourself because you're like now living in a way that aligns with your natural tendencies. Because I think we all have natural tendencies to not want to hurt things. So, when you're killing and eating animals, you know, you're sort of going against that innocent nature that I think we are born with. But you don't feel it. You're not fighting with yourself like, oh, I know this is wrong, but oh, it tastes so good. But once you're not having that at all, once you're just like eating with accordance to your feelings. So yeah, I'm not sure if any of that made sense, but it definitely, just want to say that it definitely improves your mental state and how you feel about yourself and how you feel about how you live your life. And I think that can help you in all kinds of areas. So, do I enjoy being a vegan? Yes, I do. And I definitely plan on always being vegan. So that was the vegan tag. I applaud you if you made it all the way through. I barely did myself. Thought you might want to see my dinosaur. Isn't that so cute? I love this guy. So anyway, I will see you again soon. So peace.